Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new format of Padawan Unlimited, Star Wars Unlimited trading card game podcast and YouTube channel. Today, I am joined by fellow experimenters Rob and Corey. How are you guys doing?
Hey, hey.
Hello there.
So, so if you're, I mean, we're trying something different today. We're using a new platform called Riverside. I don't know if anyone's used before. It's literally my first time doing it, so we'll see how it works out. Hopefully, the sound quality is a little bit better. The imagery is a little bit better as well. Something that we're thinking about investing in to provide you guys who are listening with the best content out there. And you'll probably hear little people like shuffling cards or like tapping on things because it's really picking up all that sound. So just bear with us. We'll work on that as time goes on. But before we get into the segments, please remember to like, subscribe, tell your friends. This podcast is purely motivated by all you listeners out there, and we want more people in this wonderful community of ours. So, a couple of pieces of logistics. One, if you are interested and have been following in the Padawan Unlimited League, take a look and join our Discord. It's unfortunately going to be run only on Discord because that's just the best way to communicate across the globe. We have listeners all over the place, Australia, UK, etc. So we're going to do that there. I'll put the registration link on the description, but it is a common card only tournament, right? And we're going to play that online and or webcams, whatever way we can do it. $5 entry fee. There are prizing and stuff, so check out the Discord and or Patreon for some of those pieces of information. We'll see how that goes. Should be fun. It's gonna be run over like the course of a month.
Yep.
So
I was gonna say, just remember, commas only. That does include leaders and bases.
yeah. When I say commons only, it's literally common only. So
That includes starter cards, right? There's no special
No
cards.
S specials, correct?
yeah,
correct.
is that common? Nope. No, I was kidding. So this was the brainchild originally of some other folks. Corey, Rob, I know you're taking the initial lead on this, so thank you guys for that as well. And then other piece of information, we are looking to kind of collaborate with some other content creators and or other groups out there. So look forward to something potentially fun in the future with a fellow Discord. I don't think they do any of their own content yet, but the Night Sisters, which is an all-women Discord for Star Wars Unlimited, the trading card game. So hopefully we can make that work. We'll see how that works in the future. And that's it for me. So let's move on to the collection segment. Corey, what do you got for us?
This is going to be a cool one, guys. The
It'll be a
collection
big
segment
week.
is, we just had the sectors in Philadelphia. It was a limited for us here in the U.S. Bilbo Spain had the more elaborate regionals with both sealed and
Yeah.
the constructed the premiere, but they didn't have any of the stuff there. So it's like, well, we get the
They had
collection.
some. Yeah.
So that was kind
That's
of
so funny.
crazy. But yeah, so we got some pretty cool things we want to show off for you guys. I know just for signing up, I did the VIP. I don't know if you guys did VIP or not, but I did get a exclusive. Well, not exclusive. I got a mat. It was the Trench Run mat. I actually don't have it here to show you guys right now, but if you've seen it, it's the Trench Run card. I got that mat for it. I got a nice deck pod here. I haven't actually used them before, but now that I've using this one, I was like, this is pretty nice. I actually like it
Yeah.
a
They
lot.
are. They
And
actually
I
are
can
really nice.
show off my leader. And then they also gave me a pack of the full, like, non-legendary, like, not alternate, but foiled alternate border cards that we'll see
Yep.
a bunch of here. So we
Sizable
got a
cards,
full
yep.
set of the non-legendary ones for that. And then there was a pretty cool thing right behind me here that if you made a certain rank. Now, unfortunately, I didn't get there. I was able to acquire, and Gil spoiled it. Yes, last week he was saying he got to acquire one and obtain the uncut sheet of some Star Wars cards.
So if you're collecting, just the one other thing, there is actually another uncut
There
sheet.
is.
Yes.
It is foiled cards, and it's like half the size of the regular
Right. It's all the foil
uncut sheet.
versions of the promo cards that you
It's,
were
and
getting.
I think it was. I got a chance to look at it, guys. I think it's the alt arts
It
actually
is,
too.
yeah. From my understanding, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's really cool. What did you want to highlight, Gil?
For me, I was like, I'll wait for Rob to go first because the one I'm going to talk about might like, I don't know if people are going to agree with me or not.
Okay.
So I don't want to say anything without like everyone finishing their turn. So
So for me this weekend, I participated in the sealed event. Managed to get in the top 256. I think finished somewhere around 140 or 170. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. But because of that, I was able to get a total of 4 silver packs from day one, and I was lucky enough between trading and pulls to get play sets of 2 of my chase cards, which were this one right here, the HK47, which I really love this art. I think this is probably my favorite art of the ones that we that were available, the legendaries. And then I also managed to get a play set of the planetary bombardments. So those are cool. 2 that I play in the deck that I usually play a lot, which is the Boba Green or Boba Data Vault. So I was very happy about that. I also did get lucky in my pulls and pulled 2 of the alt art vigilances, so that was kind of nice as well.
That's really good. Yeah.
Nah, some good pulls. I would say that a lot of the prizing prize wall stuff was pretty good for this sector qualifier. I mean, as in like the way it looked. You know what I mean? I'm not going to speak to like how, you know, how things were run in that sense, but I will say, so, you know, this is the first time with playing this game and experiencing this TCG that I felt that like people could really make money with this game, because especially if you make it to day 2 in these tournaments, which is not necessarily very hard to do, right? You can definitely pay for your trip. I mean, I've seen this happen. I mean, I've seen it happen. I see the transactions occurring on like throughout the last couple of days, especially if you hit it while it's hot, like the day of or the day after. You can make a lot of dollars, a lot of money. So I will say that, like, for example, the uncut sheet on eBay, people are trying to sell it for $1,000. I don't think it's where it's at. However, I saw multiple transactions where it was selling for 400. Right, 350. I think the lowest I saw, and I think that person got really lucky, was like $175 for the uncut sheet. And I think that's really low in my opinion. But $300 to $500, I'll say, is probably where a lot of people were selling if they were selling the sheets, and that wasn't necessarily hard to obtain, right? And then thinking about the cards, like I don't know if you guys have looked at the prices for the cards throughout this weekend.
I know the prices on at least 3 of them, because the HKs are going for about 80, the Vigilances are going for about 100, and the Planetaries are going for about 100.
For the silver pack versions, right?
The silver
pack versions.
So, ironically, people were so focused on getting the silver packs, which they ran out. Right? That they ignored the prize wall versions of the silver pack cards, as in like the legendary sets. So like there are like the promos like you said you got, which is like part of the VIP package. But those cost 200 prize wall tickets, which prize wall tickets are things you do side events for. You play cards and then you get prize wall tickets.
200 a card.
Yeah. It's 200 a card, but there was a different version for like the Vigilances and the legendary cards, which was 600 tickets, prize wall tickets per. And a lot of people forgot about those, or they were ignoring them, which those are actually more rare, in my opinion, than the silver cards, the silver pack cards.
Yeah, like, the only thing about those deals is that it's the surge foil treatment, which if you've seen the weekly play packs, that's the treatment that they did on them. It's still just the basic. It's still just the base art card, so or base card art. So it's like the Vigilance from set 1, that art
it's
just with the surge foil treatment.
A new treatment, and it
is a new treatment.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought the alt arts looked better personally, but that's just me.
I think no, don't get me wrong. I think the alt art cards look way better. However, when I'm thinking about rarity,
okay,
actual 600 tick prize, the non silver pack cards are like $100 because they actually have no supply. That supply is being held by that company, SCG or whatever. They have all these cards that they were not able to give because it's not like they were giving a lot of prize wall tickets. It just makes me think about, like, if you got these cards, you spent $40, $50 to get to a side event, and you get like 2 or 3 of these cards, you could make $160 or $200 or something like that just selling the back into the field.
Oh, definitely.
You know, just I
Yeah,
don't know if you
the
guys.
thing was like they had a couple vendors at the sector as well,
Mhm.
and people were flooding those vendors with some of these cards. And so you
Yeah.
could pick them up from these vendors based off of other people just getting rid of them and trying to get credit for other things, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that tanked some of the cards' value at those specific vendors. Like so it's like, oh, how much is like Venestra going for the silver pack Venestra? And they're
Yeah.
like, oh, we can give you $10 for it. I was like, whoa, that's pretty crazy to think about. 'Cause
Yeah.
that, that's
Well,
probably
and
going for
I think
40
she
or
was
so.
selling for she was selling for about 40.
Yeah, I think they've settled now because it's been 2 weeks. I think the silver pack versions are somewhere around $20. Am I right? 30 20 $30.
I think it depends on the card and the playability.
Depends on the card, but yeah. So they're settling down a little bit. But I just again, especially like the regular promo events for VIP, right? You there was two other events where you could get a set of 5, like or set of 6, get all the cards. You sell that's $45, $50. You sell each of those for 20 a pop, like you're making a lot of cash, you know. So again, I saw it happening for the first time, like really happening, and then even for the regional qualifiers, it was like, wow, some of these prices are like blowing my mind.
Yeah, I saw the what was it the top they had a top 8 Anakin from the what was it from the last from the sector that was in Portland that was being sold, and it was going they had it listed for like $400.
Yep, the Lukes are going for like 600 almost
I
for
know.
just like the day 2, because like again, I don't think they're gonna reprint these. Like you're not gonna
They
get
aren't.
them in like
Well, it's got the specific border on them too, which
Yep,
just makes
it
them
does.
exclusive. So
Yeah, if you look at here, I can show mine a little bit up close, but if you look, hopefully it'll focus in on it. But this little thing in the middle says Season 1
yeah.
on it.
Yeah, but even like for like next sets, regionals and sector qualifiers, I don't think they're gonna print out like those same cards. I mean, maybe. I hope they do, because like I'm missing like 3 cards from this set from the sector qualifiers, 3 or 4, 2 cards now. I'm missing 2. But we'll see what happens. I don't know. So do you guys feel like it was a good collection weekend? Like for anyone
Oh,
who was
For
like,
sure.
absolutely. What's crazy is I was pulling out my stuff for this collection to be like, oh, what can we show off? And I gave you an extra. It's like, oh, I have this extra 100 ticket,
yeah,
card, and then I found these were in my bag.
dude,
It's like what? So I had
I
two
found
extra.
I found 300.
Oh my God! Look at us.
So like I
You
just
guys could have gotten you could have gotten a freaking carbonite pack for that.
I mean,
Well, I mean,
yeah,
I would have.
I would have tried to
I know,
buy.
yeah.
I would have tried to buy a card, like try to buy an extra like 100 tickets, and then like
Yeah,
I don't know.
get
Me
one
and
of those
Corey,
600
me and
points.
Corey could
Yep.
split a card.
We could have got legendary. So
Yeah,
that's funny. But now I was like,
That's-
well, that's kind of cool. I got this.
yeah. I actually have Galactic Championship ticket price all tickets, side event tickets. I have 2 of them.
See that's today
just-
is a
you just
collectible.
saved
Or like so this guy, I guess it's a collectible. I don't know who's gonna. You know what? So I don't know if you listened to them, but the Star Wars Unlimited collector guy on Instagram. I need to get him on this podcast because his stuff looks rad. Like he buys like everything, right? So if you're talking about collection, like that dude has like walls of like mats and stuff that are perfectly preserved, like. And like how he organizes it is really cool. I think I'm
Yeah.
gonna try to get that guy try to get him on the podcast so we can talk about like collection particularly well. So and before I guess we move on to the next segment, any other final thoughts when it comes to collection?
Honestly, like as you guys know, and as probably the listeners know at this point, I'm not huge into collection unless it deals with like playability for stuff that I'm doing.
Yeah.
This weekend was a great one for me because there were just so many. Like I literally, I saw when I saw the promos, I wasn't initially going to go to this thing, and I was like, damn it. Like they literally have promos for all of the almost all the cards that I play or want to play at some point in time. It was like, fine, I guess I'll do it.
I know. It's just like I thought about it. I was like, these are like really good. I mean,
Yeah.
so Aura Singh gonna play all 3.
Mm-hmm.
record for however long we have him for 4 more weeks or 4 more months, 5 more months. I don't know.
Something
So
like that.
yeah, how about you, Corey? Any final thoughts on collection?
As far as I thought, like you mentioned briefly, they had some interesting setups to get these tickets. The prize wall was not as easy to, farm in a way, you could say. So,
Yeah. Well,
I do think that that was interesting, but it felt bad for people that were trying to do that, and then the silver packs ran out. I think that was a little unfortunate.
oh yeah. You know what I will say? So we were spoiled at Galactics in that once they got it chugging, and it was a 3-day event. Once they
Mhm.
finally got through their like mess, like once they finally got the
Day
flow
one.
right, the day one flow right, like it was triggering, like bam, 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 and the cost to like ticket ratio was okay versus like these smaller venues, smaller in that there's 500 people there. It's like they're trying to make a little bit more money, right? And I don't think they're actually incentivized to like actually give a lot of prize wall tickets out because if you think about it, like they get to keep, and I didn't realize this, like they get to just keep all the swag and all the cards they don't give away because of prize wall tickets, which means their online stores,
Mm,
anything like they're making just mad dough off of us, off of the community in that sense. So I'm like, yeah, I see. There's like 3 main events and it became side event based, but then like the side events weren't like really ticket heavy, so it's like not wasn't really worth it at that
mhm.
point. But
Yeah, it was a little bit tough to get tickets for for this because like uh, my goal had been like, okay, I'm gonna play all of day one, and then hopefully day two afterwards I'll be able to grind out maybe like 2 silver packs. Like that was my hope. I only ended up getting one, so and it was because they were tough to get. Honestly, like I only did 2 events on Sunday in total.
Yeah.
yeah,
The
same.
premiere event is fun, but I just offered to split each time with my opponent the tickets. And so if you're going to time, you're basically making 200 tickets an hour, which is nothing. Like you can't do anything with that. So it's like didn't really help me. So on day one, going from trying to get to the top half to get those extra 2 silver packs was way more of a
Yes.
better investment in my time to get those 2 silver packs and make sure I got in the top half of the field to get those extra 2 silver packs.
Yeah, I was definitely debating on dropping day one, and then like I kind of saw what was happening with the side events. I was like, all right, I'm just going to try and get top half, and
Yeah,
chips are going to fall where the chips are going to fall.
yeah. And if you could sell the cards that day, you could make your money back for your entrance fee.
Exactly.
Like so, it's pretty
I
good.
will say I had a ton of fun. It was so much
Yeah, no,
really good.
yeah.
Good
All
good
this aside,
times.
I did enjoy playing in the events. They were actually a lot of fun.
Which I actually, where's my phone? I totally forgot about this, but shout out to a couple people. I want to just share this real quick. So, um, shout out to a couple people that I met this weekend, or introduced themselves to me for the first time. Right, I've always liked meeting new people, so I really appreciate you guys. So I think we saw Lincoln again, Doug, so Bradley, Kyle, some listeners that have been around for a long time. Finally met Joe D for the first
Yeah,
time. He
Joe
was
D.
actually on stream. Really good guy. And then couple whoever I might have missed, I apologize, but thank you so much for listening to us and thank you for your support. Really happy. And then finally, shout out to some new Patreon members, some paid Patreon members actually. So we got Sam, Ben, and Nathan. Guys, thank you so much. Your money goes a long way to helping this podcast as we kind of upgrade everything. We always want to provide like the next step for our upgrades are going to be some different audio stuff, sound, and then video editing software is like the big one. I should probably just stop investing in cards, but like this is where like it goes a long way to helping support the podcast. Again, really appreciate all of you who listen and pay attention to us. So seriously,
Thank you.
from the bottom of my heart. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Gil, before you get off of that, I did want to give a shout out to Pete, who I had a really great conversation with at the end of day one, and who's good. Has stated he's kind of gonna be joining us as a new listener, and he's on our Discord already. So
Yeah.
kudos to you, buddy, and great conversation.
Yeah. Oh, Pete was cool.
Yeah, he was cool.
I love it. So, all right, let's move on to the next segment. We got Meta. So
Did something happen this weekend?
I don't know. Tell me more.
Tell me more. Tell me more. Well, there were regionals in Bilbao, and there was a sector that I think the three of us were there, weren't we? The regional, for those of you who were not aware of this, this is the bigger of the two competitive tier events. So there's the sectors, which is what we went to, and then there's the regionals. They're doing, I believe it's going to be one regional per set, I think is where it looks like it's ending up. And then there are usually two sectors per set in America. And then the regional, it looks like it's going to kind of flip back and forth between the US and Europe. But there are also two sectors in Europe. So with that being said, there was quite a bit of competitive information happening. And then on top of it, there were just a ton of planetary qualifiers as well on top of this. So generally speaking, like looking at the shape of the meta, not all of the usual suspects have been represented, but we are seeing, it looks like at planetaries, we had some more Palpatine Yellow taking some top spots. Kira Datavault, Han Datavault as well. Boba Datavault. So prevalence of Datavault is making itself known. In fact, outside of the limited events, a lot of the special bases have been kind of showing up at the top. It hasn't really been, just like generic green, generic yellow, whatever, with the exception of Palpatine. A lot of Data Vault, a lot of Tarkin Town, all that kind of fun stuff. But the big news, of course, is also what happened in Bilbao and what happened in Philadelphia over the weekend. So we had two limited qualifiers this weekend. And for those of you who don't know limited, you're given 6 packs to build a deck out of. It's a 30-card deck. And this was, I'm going to be honest, I know we talked about it in the sort of post-event wrap-up. This is a lot of fun. Honestly, I'm not really huge into sealed when it comes to like the starter events or the pre-release events, but in a field this large and like the way that this kind of played out, it was actually really, really cool. So I don't know if you posted that video yet, but if you haven't, you can hear kind of some of my thoughts on that after it. But we had two champions. The first one was a Third Sister Red. This was in Bilbao. The first place, so that was our first place winner. It was Bandit 01, and then
There's double red.
No, it was red yellow. Sorry, red yellow force. But the other one, which I think has kind of been taken it by storm a little bit, was Grand Inquisitor Blue was the runner up. And this deck, in this environment in sealed, if you get the right cards, is frankly terrifying. For those of you who don't know, basically Grand Inquisitor generally kind of seen as a trash leader, but the thing about him is that he flips on 5. He's a shielded leader, and on attack he reduces attack. So if you're able to stack it with a corrupted lightsaber, he is just dang near impossible to kill. And he starts trading for all kinds of stuff and it lets you set tempo. So really, really interesting deck there. So congratulations to the winners out there. And then, of course, we had one over here and taking it in back-to-back weekends. Your boy Bobby Sapphire took down the limited sector qualifier in Philadelphia. Did it with Snoke Red and Snoke, as we've all kind of known, is kind of he's a strong leader in limited. He just can snowball really easily. If you get, and again, you don't even really need to get the right cards, but if you get certain cards, he just becomes very, very difficult to deal with.
Yeah. I know, I agree. I think that was, again, I guess suffice to say, there was a lot of limited play this weekend, and there were some surprising, results. Top results, however, like especially with like a Third Sister Yellow. Third Sister, freaking good.
Well, we talked about that.
I think that comes down to drafting and knowing your draft pool and what you're getting and what you're looking at, right? These top finishes were drafts. There weren't
drafts. Yes,
sealed.
Correct.
So you're getting 3 packs and you're looking and you're seeing what other leaders are out there, how you can adjust and what you're getting past, and what people like, what downstream is coming your way, right? So knowing that, that's how you can kind of adjust. And that's where I think you'll see those like Third Sisters and GIs come out, because people are focused on Obi-Wans, Talzins, and Snokes, and be like, oh, I'm going to take the cards that are good for these leaders, and then
Yep.
you
Yeah.
see that you're getting.
Well, I think, I don't want to exhaust that conversation too much about like limited, but how the Bilbao premiere event, and not because the limited is not important, but because we're about to rotate out of this set within the last like 3 weeks, and I know that like there's not going to be many,
the cards aren't going to be
not going to be many
useful.
big tournaments using limited play. However, with Bilbao for the
premiere event,
that top 8 looked really interesting.
Yeah, it did. It did. So we had a Mother Talzin Red take it down in Europe, which, so I guess the stories of her demise are greatly exaggerated because she took it down. Now, it's interesting. Looking at this list, it's much more kind of mid-rangey, like unit focused, whereas the previous versions of this have been very kind of control focused.
This list, sorry to interrupt, Rob. This list is exactly the same as what the Enigma guys were running, essentially, except for one card.
So what's Enigma? And
that's the Philip who won the Galactics Championship. His team. He also Sip, I think, who took second in this event, is on his team. They're a team in the Swoop Riders race. What are they? What's their their team is like
Team Enigma?
Team Enigma, and their podcast is like Swoop Riders.
Okay, and so they played the same exact list minus force throw.
Minus force throw. This is before this event. Obviously, they took a different list to this event. But what's the card, Rob?
The card that was
spicy
different?
card that this guy put in for his list.
Oh, I actually don't know what
was
the
that.
spicy
No
card
disintegrations?
was.
No disintegrations.
Oh, no disintegrations.
So that's the one card that they swapped out for force throw, and it makes so much sense in Talzin. Like that, just like why didn't people like think about this?
Yeah, because you're going to take him down to 1 health, and then you're like -1.
Yeah, and you don't care because you're mid range, so you're taking all these actions anyway. So it's like you don't necessarily need it to be one action. You can take multiple actions to take something out. No disintegrations basically you play it and you put a unit down to 1 health. That's what it does.
Yep.
Non-leaders.
No, non-leaders. It's definitely pretty spicy. The other one I thought that was interesting, and the one that Sip played, he came in second, it was Han to ECL, and the shell on this one is most of what you think of, but it takes some of the ECL targets that Sabine usually uses. So you have Poe and you have Wrecker in here, as well as there's a spicy IG-11 in there as well. That is a target for ECL. So if you have something damaged, he can really blow up your opponent's board. Really, really interesting because mostly we've been seeing Han 2 Blue Force, and this is like a different take on it that I think is still pretty.
I think this
pretty valid.
deck's coming up because Force Throw's gone, right? Because this deck did not work as well with Force Throw around, and now with and as well as Tarkin Town, because Tarkin Town's really only in Cad Bane, like because Quinlan's not really around that much now. This deck can do better.
Yeah, Han 2. I mean, that leader's just good. I mean, like you just get to cheat out a bigger unit. It's just
and like, everything comes out a turn before Sabine, right? So like Sabine's playing the same deck, but you're coming out a little earlier. So
crazy. You can't ECL the things a turn earlier, but you can drop the Poe a turn earlier. You can drop the Wrecker a turn earlier, and that's pretty good.
Yeah, and the other thing, like with the IG you mentioned, like I think they mentioned that they specifically threw that in there because they thought that Han 1 was going to be a big, like a huge presence here, and that just takes him out. So,
I mean, that was a good call. There was a lot of
ambush. Yeah,
there was a lot of Han 1s out there, like in this world. And they all
top
got
64.
smacked.
Cad Bane was the most represented deck. Top 64.
Oh, really? No. Yep, and
then
one made it top 8.
Rob, Boba Fett Data Vault was number 2.
Yep.
Top 64.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
conversions were bad, but
the conversions were bad. He only took one PQ this weekend. But
I was interested to see that Thrawn 4 Data Vault did well, and like not Kira's, not Aiden's. It was those two,
and it was green, right? It wasn't yellow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, it's so looking at this deck, it's kind of very focused on pulling those when defeated. It uses what's his name, Cobb Vanth, early to dig and start to build a wide board. It's and it just there's a lot of like very impactful one defeateds. It doesn't have the same like sticking power or like obvious power that like double double legacy running, for the one defeat off of legacy run. Like that's just really powerful, obviously, and obviously powerful with Thrawn 4, but it's got a lot of little things that make it run that are really, really interesting.
The neat thing about that one too is he's got Cobb Vanth to pull Lothwolf, right? So he can pull that
Correct.
for 2, which is like he doesn't have to pay the tax on it.
Yep, and he also uses it, I think, to pull some of the heroic. So he actually has a couple of heroic units in there. I don't know if this is the
Yoda.
version that has. Well, there's Yoda and Lorsan. I've seen versions of this with Lorsan. I can't remember his last name, but the two costs that gives experience to a unit when defeated. But what it is that you're using it to put a heroic in, and then you can drop Anakin for the -6
Right.
-6. It's a way to like Kylo is much more efficient about it, but this is a way to make sure that you can get that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think if anything, the meta has definitely spread out to be now. It seems to be a lot of green, but
It does.
But
I think
that's
it's
okay.
way more like versatile here in Spain than it was in Portland. Portland was kind of cookie cutter, but I don't know if that was just because people were just like so new to not having force throw. Here it's like, we got some more decks we can try.
Yeah, but that Thrawn 4 deck was showing up last week. It was showing up at the PQs, but that Thrawn 4 deck was showing up in Europe last week too. So I think this is one that is prevalent over there right now.
Yeah, and I think also we're just like you said, it was so early, like after the ban, that people just went back to what they were comfortable with,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of the comfortable like Han 2 blue, Kira,
Well, and I think that's
Han
I think that's
1,
what-
like
Yeah.
Sorry.
Dang it.
But Talzin's back. Talzin apparently
Talzin's back.
Coming back. And the thing that was very cool to see was that Talzin, the player that played Talzin at 1, he was 1-2 to start his journey, and then didn't lose a game after that. Didn't lose a match after.
Nice.
So
Wow.
just
So
because
that's-
you
stick
go
with it,
1-2
guys.
doesn't mean you're done.
definition of submarining.
Yep.
Oh
we
my
were
God.
joking we were on Team Submarine all weekend with us, but that's more real than, or
man.
that's less real than the actual Team Submarine there.
Um,
But yeah, it's interesting. I think the over prevalence of Han 2 Blue is kind of what you were referring to there, Gil, the previous weekend, and now it's starting to kind of level out a little bit.
Yep. I don't know, definitely different metas between the different continents and different regions, because you almost completely different.
Yeah.
Like leaders and bases combination, right? Some similarities, but like that's just wild to me.
It's held in Spain, and a Spaniard won it as well. So good for him to hold down his home turf.
Represent the country, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, if anything, like the health of this game is really strong, because people are buying cards, people are selling cards, people are playing at these tournaments. The last Sector Qualifier is in Germany, and that's sold out within an hour, right? So like, I just don't think there's going to be any open slots. If there are, they're going to be scooped up immediately that day, or however like fast they can scoop it up. Germany is also very strong because has a lot of it's surrounded by a very competitive area, and it's relatively easy accessible, right, to get through, because it's like in the middle of everything.
Yeah, it's in the center.
Geography. All right. So, any final words in regards to any final thoughts regarding the meta?
Just that I am excited to see what Secrets of Power is going to do here. I know internally we all been kind of talking about it, and I think there's going to be some interesting shakeups with what's coming out. There was some big spoilers today that I think we're going to see that are going to kind of really, really shake the foundations of what we're seeing on a week to week basis at these PQs.
Yep. This next set's gonna be fire.
It really
That's what the kids say nowadays, right? Fire. Like
No, they say
Do they?
7.
it's lit. No, that's pretty old. That's like 10 years old at this point. All right. Okay, so let's move on to the final segment. We are going to talk about something that was brought up on our Discord topic submission and keywords. We're kind of ranking them. Now we've talked we've talked about keywords in the past. We did a back to basics probably a couple months ago when we talked about keywords very briefly, or we tried to talk about it very briefly in one of the episodes. So we didn't really get through it all, but it's always good to just remember fundamentals, right? We had some conversation with some listeners to within the last couple of days talk about gameplay. Like they didn't want to lose, right? It was hard to like get those wins out of the way. Some of it is gameplay, like understanding like your deck is your deck good, for example. But like also it's piloting, and piloting. Some of the way to get better is to understand why, how, and the mechanics of the game, just like generally, right? Speaking, right, on the rules, etc. So we're going to talk about keywords specifically today for the next 20 minutes or something like that. If you don't want to hear about this conversation, then you can turn off the podcast now. But before you do, please remember to like, subscribe, tell your friends, leave a message. I don't know, like really appreciate it. But let's talk about it. So I think instead of going through a list of like, this is the definition of ambush, this is the definition of plot, this is the definition of whatever, let's talk about thematics, right? So let's talk about just keywords in general. What are very quote unquote powerful keywords? Are there any keywords that are more powerful than others, do you think?
I mean, there's one obvious one. It's ambush. Ambush is probably the single most powerful keyword in the game right now. I like maybe only followed by, I'm going to argue, smuggle. Just because of smuggle's not as obvious, but there's such a strong game effect in terms of not having to have cards in your hand. But ambush, just you get to play a card, you get to immediately attack with it, you get to there's impact, there's immediate
not the base
impact.
To be clear, not the base. It has to attack a unit.
It does have to attack a unit, so like you do have to have like a target across the way. But particularly with things that grant ambush to give cards that have powerful when played and when attack abilities, or even if they just have a powerful when attack abilities or on attack abilities, it's just like the bar is set there, and anything else, like I don't think there's anything more powerful than anything, unless you guys disagree.
Words are the words in red on the card. If you're not colorblind, I'm sorry, but if they're the red text card words. And ambush, I do agree, because it's action compression. We've talked about that before. Like when you can compress actions and do more things in one turn, because in this game you're going back and forth between your opponent instead of taking your entire turn and then letting your opponent take their turn. Your opponent now has the ability to react to something that you've done. So when you play a card, they can do something. But if you're playing a card and attacking, their next move has to change, because potentially you just remove their option. So ambush is definitely one of my favorites.
For me, I mean, I love ambush, but I think I probably said I really like ambush is probably one of my favorites, but actually it's probably Sentinel. Like in realistic, if I could build a deck, that had all my units were Sentinel units, I would do that in a heartbeat.
Well, you have a leader that helps you with that.
Yeah. Oh my god!
They're so annoying. Sentinel is one of the most annoying.
Sentinel means that you have to attack it. Like you have to attack that in that arena. You have to attack that unit. You can't unless you use a counter one, which is called Saboteur. But Sentinel is just like it's your shield. It's like shield against. It's like shielding. Well, not shield is another.
I was gonna say shield is
another keyword.
It's another keyword, but Sentinel is just a big blocker, big body. Ideally, that's just like stopping you and or defeating a unit. Go ahead, ambush into me, but you're gonna take some damage back. Whatever. If there was Sentinel cards with high attack and low health, I would take that every time. I just build a deck of 30 units with that.
They do have some.
Yeah, some, but I mean, like, I want more. I want to get to the point where there's like more. Like, I want my entire deck to be Sentinel plus my leader, so that you just like can't get through.
Yeah.
So
I agree that Sentinel is impactful. It can save your game. Like a lot, particularly late sentinels, where your opponent's getting ready to swing the base and they only have one or two big targets that are going to get them there. Dropping a sentinel in front of that, making your opponent attack, it feels really good.
Particularly when there's another ability on it. So like Devastator. Is was it 10 cost? I forget. It's a 10 cost or 9 cost.
10 cost, 10/10.
10 cost.
Yep. 10 cost 10/10 that has Sentinel and defeats a unit like essentially.
Well, it does damage equal to the amount of resources that you have.
So 10.
minimum 10 actually. Like you technically do more. It's a single target though.
It's actually it's not minimum because you can sneak attack it for 9.
Yeah.
No, that's true.
So good.
But yeah, so it's the effects, if you can trigger abilities and have a keyword on there, which that's really good, obviously.
Yep.
I think shielded is really good one. Also, it protects your unit. Shields just absorb all of that 10 damage, right? It doesn't matter how much damage you're doing.
It's true.
The shield will take all of it, and then you're still alive.
And then go away. Yeah. Yeah.
And
you
you
only
can
get
stack
one
shields
with it. You can.
So do we think? So those are like old, like set one, old quote unquote, like keywords, like barely 2 years, not even. The new keyword that's coming out, plot.
Yes.
What do we think about that keyword? Because first of all, let's start. What does plot do? Plot.
So, go ahead.
Good. Plot, right? Is a keyword that is triggered by your leader flipping. So by leader flipping, I mean every leader has a resource like requirement that once you hit that resource number, like 5 or 4 or 3 or 8, right?
3.
You, I don't know. Well, no, I mean think about
Maybe one day.
Yeah, maybe. You could flip the leader into as an epic action so that it's a playable unit on your field, and then what ends up happening is if you do that, you could take a card from your resource row, a plot card, pay the resources to do that, replace the resource with your top card of your deck, and it gives you an added ability or effect. So it's helping you action. It's helping your action economy and or protecting or doing something that helps your game state helps your game state when all you have to do is flip your leader.
Yep.
So seems very powerful. What do you guys think?
No, I completely agree. I think that this is going to change that. Your leader flip is going to become so much more of a focus / like something that your opponent's going to have to be ready for because of all the plot cards that potentially could be coming out. Because now your leader flip, you can wait, not necessarily, I flip at 4. As soon as I hit 4, I'm flipping. That doesn't necessarily mean you're going to do it now because of the plot cards. It might not make sense for you. So before, when you could just be like, oh, they're going to flip on their flip turn, that's not necessarily true anymore.
Yeah. I also, this is in the same class to me as Smuggle. It's a little bit different, but it has a similar effect. I think, to Corey's point, it does mean that sometimes you're not going to flip immediately on 4. I think the prime example of this is probably Dedra Miro. She flips on 4, but I actually don't think you want to flip her on 4. I think you probably want to hold her for later, and flip her with maybe a couple more plot cards or some other things behind her. But in general, anytime we talk about it with Ambush, it's action compression. This is the same thing. So this is Smuggle as a keyword was something that allowed you to play a card from your resource row, not usually, always at an increased cost. It meant that you could play cards from your resource row. You didn't have to hold them in your hand, and those cards were always still live. Effectively, they weren't lost to the resource row at that point. This was a very strong ability, and it's been proven out because a lot of Smuggle cards, the very impactful ones, still are played all the time. And I think when we're looking at plot cards, it's going to have a similar effect. It's just slightly different.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you think plot is going to be like more powerful in a specific aspect? So here's what I mean. So like we know that blue, or we don't know, maybe we don't know this, but blue is like the vigilance color is really like a lot of restore, sentinels, right? Red is a lot of like raid, I would say maybe ambush, right? Things like that.
Direct damage.
Direct damage. Well, I'm talking about keywords specifically. So
okay.
green is more like multi-purpose. I'll say it has a little bit of everything.
It has the most ambush.
Yeah, the most ambush. But it also does like has some sentinels in there. Has raids. Has a bunch of other like redonk stuff in there. And then yellow. I'm actually not sure what
Yellow
color
has a
or
bunch
what
of raid, ambush
Raid.
and raid. Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
raid. Yep.
So, do you think plot's going to be? It's pretty much. I haven't looked at all the cards yet, but it should be spread relatively evenly across all the colors, right?
Yeah, I haven't
I
seen
believe it is.
the entire, all the cards that have plot. But if I was going to guess on one, I would have said green would be more of a plot color. But it kind of sounds
maybe.
like yellow too, because like yellow's all about the tricks and like being sneaky, and like the plot cards are kind of more sneaky, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think these are. I have a feeling to your point, Gil. I think they're going to be fairly evenly spread. I haven't looked at the spread completely, but of what's been revealed to date. But my instinct is that they want this to be every aspect has access to it. Now, how impactful those cards are, I think, is gonna vary. But I think there'll be equitable access to them.
Yeah. No, I agree. Okay. Yeah. No, I think so too. I don't think like we'd have to see the full set. Like, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be spread. Final question: do we think that there'll be some keywords that'll play like a greater role as rotation comes around in the next 4 months, or like after the set, right? Do you think so? For example, for me, unless they reprint smuggle, like that's going away as a keyword, right? Which means that a lot of cards that might have been. What do you say,
They
Corey?
haven't put smuggle on anything, I don't think, since Shadows.
They have plot, right? But like smuggle is going to be going away, which completely changes how a lot of gameplay is going to work. I think, right? And that's coming down the pipeline.
I mean, again, I think we're replacing smuggle with plot, right? Like there is some there's some comparability there.
Well, it's more like you're trading out a resource based keyword, like to benefit leaders versus non-leaders. You know what I mean? Like I think that's where it's along those lines, because your leaders are going to be awesome, but like tech, one of the best cards in the game. It allows you to just pull it out of your resource row.
Yeah.
Anything +2, like that's really good. Like against control and stuff. I think without that, control gets much more powerful as a part of the meta shift. I mean, that's my opinion.
Well, I do think there are some keywords that have not gotten a lot of, love as far as we've seen them. As like the Twilight keywords have just not been showing up at all as far as like coordinate and
exploit.
There's one card that's like in a deck that uses coordinate very efficiently with the Sector Shuttle, and then Malevolence. I think it was really good with Vader.
Plo Koon.
Yeah, and Plo Koon. Yep, but like
there's like three cards.
but other than that, like coordinate exploits have not really been a factor in the meta at all, and so
well, I think
curious.
they might actually see some play in this next set, because, and I say this very lightly, but with a lot of tokens, right? A lot more tokens generation. Go ahead, Rob.
Exploit might get some value there. I agree. A lot of you're correct. The token generation off of all these spy tokens are going to start getting generated. There's a lot of cards that generate spy tokens now. Queen Amidala is it's going to be nuts with all the.
You say these cards, but what does Queen Amidala do?
Oh my god!
What does Queen Amidala do?
Well, Queen Amidala. I know we're trying to focus on keywords, but Queen Amidala drops to so she's a 5-cost 5/3, drops to spy tokens when she comes out, and as long as you have another official on the board, anytime Amidala takes damage, you can basically just shunt all of that damage to another official. So spies are officials, though.
So think about this. We talk about shield. Right? Like as a keyword, like the play here is just like really good, because you could essentially constantly put like a shield on or sentinel on like another dinky unit, and or maybe not Sentinel, but like
Well, you have to
you
defeat the unit. You don't. It doesn't take the
Oh, is
damage.
it defeat?
Yeah, it
It's
defeats.
defeat. Okay, it's not okay. You can't not shunt. It's like so shunting's different.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
Yeah, I
never
guess
mind.
that's true. Yeah.
Never mind.
It would have been
There goes my
crazy if you could do that.
there goes my hopes and dreams.
Yeah, but regardless, like if you're able to generate a lot of spy tokens, because spy tokens are officials, right? So it has to be an official that she sacrifices instead of taking the damage. She's nigh unkillable, and she's just a clock.
Yeah, she was just the recently revealed legendary command.
Yeah, but I think
heroes.
with like her card, I think then makes like, for example, if you somehow gave her Sentinel, and then you had a bunch of somehow gave her Sentinel, which is kind of possible with certain cards.
There's a blue card that gives her Sentinel.
Yeah,
upgrade.
And there are tokens in the back row, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can Overwhelm, for example, won't work on her.
Nope.
You just like you're not going to be like it just nullifies a keyword, right?
Yes.
Like completely.
Yeah, all the overwhelm damage just goes and gets defeated into the unit that you're killing off.
Yeah.
All of her hand her handmaidens or whatever.
Yeah, it's
her
friggin'. So there's just thinking of like tying it all together, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a really great card that if you think about certain synergies, you could be really experimental and like really make it work because you can add keywords to the cards with other cards, right? It's just not just printed on something. You have to remember that as a mechanic. Like you can do that, right?
And there's some interactions that you might not like think about that you're just like, does this really work? And a lot of times it does. So like if you find something or if you're thinking about hey, this seems like I should be able to do this other thing because of this other card, don't doubt it. Like try it out and see how it goes and talk about it and share it on Discord with us and we can talk about it as well. But there's a lot of interactions in this game that just like people don't necessarily recognize right away, like with like Galactics with the Sith Holocron. It was like nobody. I thought that card was trash. I'm like, who wants to do this? And then here comes the Botham Network saying, "Oh, we want to do this, and we're going to do it straight to the finals." So
you can't sleep on any cards until you see all the sets and really think through. All right, let's as we wrap up. Any final thoughts on keywords? One more. I'll give you another 30 seconds. Talk about it.
Yeah, I think that the base keywords that we got in set 1 are all going to stick around and come back for the most part. Like they're just staples.
Evergreen.
Like they're not going to come out. Like you have sets that have specific themes that they're trying to push, with this exploit and the coordinate. Those I think do go away after a while as well, but we definitely won't be losing the Sentinels, the Shielded, the Ambush, the Raid. I think those all stick around for a while. Restore.
Cool. Restore. Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's interesting to see because with the exception of, I don't think Legends of the Force had a specific keyword to it, but every other set other than the main set has had a specific keyword, at least one specific keyword associated with it. We had piloting in Jump to Lightspeed, we had exploit and coordinate with Twilight, and we had smuggle with Shadows of the Galaxy. So, and now we're getting plot with Secrets of Power. I think that theme is probably going to stick. You will likely see like a themed keyword for each set as they get released, and so that's where it gets interesting. It's like we have our base, whatever it is. I think it's 8 keywords, and then we're going to be able to add this spice in. I think it's really kind of cool to see that, and don't be afraid to experiment with those because to your point earlier, Gil, exploit hasn't really been a thing, but we're about to get a lot of token generation. Exploit might become viable again.
Yeah, cool.
Or not again, but just viable.
More viable.
Do you think that because after rotation, do you think any of the ones get rotated out, like
come back? I mean, so I'm going to be honest. I really enjoy Smuggle as a mechanic, and I think it is. Particularly seeing it through set 1 and all the way through here, it's been key. I feel like it's one that they should keep evergreen. That's just my opinion. But because I think it adds a lot of dynamism to the game. Like now you're not just having to think about like, and for set one not having it made complete sense, right? You don't want to kind of overcomplicate things, but now the game's been around for a while. Having the resource world be interactive in some way, shape, or form I think is really, really important. And yes, plot does do that, but it's much more limited in scope. And I think Smuggle, I hope they make an evergreen keyword at some point.
Yeah,
It's reprint tech.
Yeah, sure things will be reprinted. So yeah, no, the great stuff. Cal, thank you so much for the suggestion on our Discord channel. For anyone else out there who's listening, please feel free to join us in that forum. Or if you have other topics and you don't want to join Discord, you don't use it, send me an email at gil at padawanunlimited.com. I'm more than happy to get that on the docket as we keep growing this community together. Thank you all for listening. Again, please remember to like, subscribe, tell your friends. Until next time, may the force be with you.